What if I told you there's a habit you've carried quietly for decades? Something so personal, so private, that it might be gently eroding one of the most vital parts of your life. Not with loud alarms or sudden pain, but with a subtle, almost invisible toll on your circulation and intimacy. It's a subject many men over 60 hesitate to talk about, if they think about it at all. Yet it's woven into the daily fabric of their lives, a quiet ritual that too often goes unquestioned. You might be feeling it now, the slow fade of energy, the slight distance in your closest relationships, a softness where there used to be a spark. But you can't quite put your finger on why. The truth is, some of the habits you hold around solo pleasure might be part of that story, and acknowledging that doesn't diminish who you are. It's simply a step toward reclaiming your vitality in a way that honors your body and your deepest needs. Over the course of my 30 years working with men in their prime and beyond, I've witnessed this story unfold again and again. Take Michael, for example, a man in his late 60s, still sharp in mind and heart, deeply devoted to his wife, and yet feeling a slow but persistent loss of connection. He described it not with dramatic words, but with a quiet sadness. The energy wasn't there the way it used to be. The moments of intimacy felt distant, almost mechanical. When he came to see me, he was searching not just for answers, but for a way back to the man he recognized in the mirror. And what we uncovered together was revealing. His patterns around masturbation, something he'd done privately for years, were subtly impacting his circulation and emotional connection more than he realized. Michael's story isn't unique. It's a gentle call for all men who may be wrestling silently with these same concerns, unsure where to turn. Michael's experience is not just a clinical example. It's a window into the quiet struggles that many men face but rarely voice. I remember sitting across from him in my office, the afternoon light casting soft shadows on the walls as he shared his story, not just the facts, but the feelings behind them. "It's like my body and my mind aren't in sync anymore," he confessed. "I wake up and the usual signs of vitality, the morning erections, the sense of readiness, are just gone. And with them, a part of me feels lost." His words held a vulnerability many men hesitate to show, a silent yearning to reclaim a sense of wholeness and connection. What struck me most was how deeply intertwined his physical sensations were with his emotional landscape. Michael wasn't simply missing certain bodily responses, he was grieving the quiet shift in his identity, the subtle erosion of confidence that comes with changes he never anticipated. He spoke of intimacy with his wife, not as something that had vanished, but as a thread that needed tending, a garden growing wild and needing gentle care. It was clear that this wasn't just about function or mechanics. It was about feeling alive and seen, both by himself and the person he loved. In those moments, I understood more fully that addressing these issues requires more than prescriptions or quick fixes. It demands patience, empathy, and a willingness to listen to the body's language and the heart's quiet truths. Michael's journey became a shared exploration of what it means to age with dignity, not surrendering to loss, but adapting with grace. We talked about how every man's experience is unique, shaped by his history, his relationships, and the stories he tells himself about aging and masculinity. On a biological level, what Michael was experiencing aligns with changes in the autonomic nervous system, the network that controls involuntary bodily functions like blood flow and arousal. As we age, the balance between the sympathetic fight or flight system and the parasympathetic rest and digest system shifts. For many men, this means their body doesn't respond as readily to stimulation. The signals that once flowed freely become muffled or delayed. This shift can be subtle, often going unnoticed until the cumulative effects impact energy, desire, or the quality of intimacy. Understanding this balance helps explain why mindfulness and intentional rest are so vital. When the parasympathetic system is supported through deep breathing, relaxation, and paced activity, it restores circulation and sensitivity. It's like coaxing a river to flow smoothly after a period of drought. Conversely, Habits that overstimulate the sympathetic system, rushing, stress, or habitual urgency, can further dampen responsiveness, making the cycle harder to break. Michael's story is a reminder that healing often happens in the spaces between action, the pauses where we listen, reflect, and choose differently. It's not about reclaiming youth, but about embracing a new rhythm that honors who you are now. The journey requires courage to face discomfort, to challenge long-held assumptions, and to open up conversations that many avoid. But within that courage lies the potential for profound renewal of body, mind, and relationship. This deeper understanding offers hope, not as a distant promise, but as a present possibility. It invites men to move beyond silence and secrecy, to reclaim pleasure and intimacy, not by force, but by gentle attention. And it encourages partners, loved ones, and caregivers to engage with compassion, recognizing the layers of experience beneath what might seem like simple performance issues. In the end, Michael's path was not just about physical recovery, but about restoring connection to himself, to his partner, and to the fullness of life still waiting to be embraced. His story, like many others, holds a quiet wisdom that aging is not a loss of vitality, but a transformation, and that with the right support and insight, it can be a time of renewed passion and profound intimacy. To understand why this happens, it's important to appreciate the delicate changes our bodies undergo as we age. Picture your circulatory system as a garden hose. When you're young, it's flexible, strong, and easily bends without losing pressure. But with time, that hose stiffens, becoming less forgiving, more vulnerable to wear and tear. Our blood vessels, nerves, and hormone systems don't operate as they once did, and this subtle shift affects everything from our energy levels to how we experience pleasure. Masturbation, a natural and healthy act in youth, can take on a different meaning and impact as we cross that 60-year mark. It's not about stopping something pleasurable or natural, but about understanding how the rhythms and methods we've relied on may no longer serve us in the same way. One of the less obvious ways this manifests is through what I call mindless frequency without recovery. When you were younger, your body might have bounced back quickly, no questions asked. But as we age, each act calls for time, not just for physical healing, but for restoring sensitivity and balance. Too often, men fall into the trap of daily, or even multiple times daily, masturbation without allowing the pelvic tissues, nerves, and blood flow to regenerate. Imagine walking on a gravel path every day without giving it time to rest. Eventually, the surface breaks down. In the same way, our bodies need that quiet pause to remain resilient. Without it, circulation can become sluggish, nerves desensitized, and the very pleasure we seek begins to dull, leaving us more drained than fulfilled. Equally important is how we engage with this habit. Rushed or emotionally disconnected masturbation patterns are surprisingly common, especially among men who might be using it as a quick escape from stress or loneliness. If your hand becomes more familiar than your heart, it can lead to a disconnection that goes beyond the physical. When pleasure becomes mechanical, the brain's reward systems don't light up in the same way. Dopamine pathways become desensitized, leaving you chasing a feeling that never quite arrives. It's like eating the same bland meal repeatedly. You crave satisfaction but find none. Over time, this emotional numbing can seep into your intimate relationships, creating distance where you want closeness and a silence where you want conversation. Adding another layer to this is the increasingly common reliance on pornographic or unrealistic stimuli to achieve arousal. The brain, after all, is highly adaptable and sensitive to what it's fed. When men over 60 turn to exaggerated or highly stimulating content, it rewires expectations and responses in ways that don't always translate well to real-life intimacy. This overstimulation can lead to performance anxiety, a diminished interest in partner connection, and difficulties in achieving or maintaining erections. It's a silent shift, one that often goes unnoticed until the cracks begin to show in the bedroom or in moments of vulnerability. What's crucial to remember is that this isn't a moral failing, or a lack of willpower. It's a biological response to repeated patterns of stimulation that the aging brain and body find harder to recalibrate. Lastly, there's something rarely spoken about but equally important: the positions or techniques used during masturbation that may inadvertently constrict blood flow. Imagine sitting on a tightly bent garden hose. No matter how strong the water pressure, the flow is restricted. Certain grips, angles, or pressure points, often developed out of habit or comfort, can limit pelvic circulation instead of enhancing it. Over years and decades, this constriction can lead to reduced sensitivity, numbness, or even discomfort. It's a gentle warning from your body, a signal that the way you're used to doing things might need a thoughtful adjustment. These small shifts, once understood and embraced, can make a profound difference in how your body responds and how deeply you experience pleasure and connection. Each of these habits is quiet, almost invisible, but over time, their echoes grow louder in the body. The good news is that they are not permanent sentences. They are habits, patterns that can be observed, understood, and gently shifted. Reconnecting with your body and your pleasure in a way that honors the changes you've experienced is not about restriction or shame. It's about mindful presence and intention. It's about learning to listen to the subtle language your body speaks now and responding with care. This shift doesn't ask you to give up what you love, but invites you to experience it in a way that nourishes vitality rather than diminishes it. In the next part of our conversation, we'll explore practical ways to retrain these patterns, to build resilience and connection that last. Because after all, pleasure, energy, and intimacy are not relics of youth. They are gifts to be reclaimed and cherished every day. Reconnecting with your body after years of ingrained habits might feel unfamiliar at first, like learning the contours of a well-worn path anew. But this is not about restraining yourself or suppressing desire. It's about cultivating awareness and inviting your body to participate in a dance it hasn't fully remembered. The first step is gentle. Begin to bring mindfulness to the act itself. Instead of rushing, allow yourself to slow down and breathe deeply. Imagine savoring a favorite meal, each bite rich with flavor and texture, rather than gulping it down in a hurry. By tuning into the sensations, the shifts in pleasure, the rhythm of your breath, you transform a habitual motion into a moment of connection, a dialogue between your body and your mind. This simple act of presence is a powerful tool that can rebuild sensitivity and deepen your intimacy with yourself. Equally important is the practice of scheduled rest. Our bodies are not machines meant to operate endlessly without pause. Consider the wisdom of the seasons. There are times of growth and times of rest. Similarly, giving your pelvic region a deliberate break, say a 7-day reset each month, allows circulation to restore and nerves to regain their vitality. During these periods, shift your focus toward other forms of self-care, walking in fresh air, gentle stretching, or even practices like pelvic floor exercises that nourish the muscles supporting circulation. Rest is not absence, it is preparation. It primes your body to receive pleasure with greater fullness and resilience, making each intimate moment richer and more rewarding. Building on that foundation, strengthening pelvic circulation can become a cornerstone of your renewed vitality. The simplest movements often hold the greatest power. Walking, for instance, stimulates blood flow and encourages the gentle flexing of muscles that support healthy circulation. Incorporate deep breathing, as if drawing life itself into your core, expanding the abdomen slowly and exhaling with intention. Pelvic floor exercises, commonly known as Kegels, are a secret weapon that many overlook. They help maintain muscle tone and improve vascular health in the region, contributing not only to physical strength, but also to confidence and control. Hydration is equally vital. The blood is the river of life, and well-hydrated blood flows with ease, nourishing every cell and nerve ending. None of these suggestions are about imposing rigid rules or creating a checklist to complete. Instead, They invite you to approach your body with curiosity and kindness, to listen without judgment to its messages. It's not unusual to feel resistance at first. After all, changing lifelong patterns requires patience. But even small shifts can ripple outward, influencing not just your physical health, but your emotional well-being and relationships. When you treat your body as a valued partner rather than a tool, you open the door to a richer, more vibrant experience of life. I want you to know that you are not broken or failing. You are becoming more aware, stepping into a new phase of self-knowledge that many never reach. The feelings of fatigue, the subtle withdrawal from intimacy, the frustration with your body's changing responses, these are not signs of decline, but invitations to listen deeper. You're not alone in this journey. Countless men have walked this path quietly, and many have found that by embracing these truths, they have reclaimed more than just physical function. They have rediscovered joy, connection, and a renewed sense of self. Remember Michael, the man I mentioned earlier? When he began to shift his approach, slowing down, embracing rest, and engaging his body with intention, he experienced more than improved circulation or stamina. His relationship blossomed in ways he hadn't imagined possible. The distance he felt melted into shared laughter and quiet moments of closeness. The spark wasn't just reignited, it was rekindled into a steady, warm flame that illuminated his days and nights. This transformation didn't come overnight, nor was it the result of quick fixes or empty promises. It was born from gentle persistence, openness, and a willingness to see himself with new eyes. This conversation you're part of now is a quiet shift, but one that can change everything. It's not about giving up something natural or sacred. It's about reclaiming it, doing so in a way that strengthens your body, nourishes your spirit, and deepens your connections. Intimacy and pleasure are not the exclusive gifts of youth. They are treasures that grow richer with age, with intention, and with care. Your body, your desires, and your relationships deserve nothing less. As you move forward, I encourage you to listen closely to your body's whispers. Be more curious than critical. Celebrate the small victories, the moments when you pause, breathe, or choose a new way to connect. These are the threads that weave a tapestry of renewed vitality and intimacy. You have the wisdom, the strength, and the right to experience pleasure that uplifts rather than drains. This is your time to embrace that truth with open arms. If what we've shared today has resonated with you, if you felt seen in this conversation or found hope where there was uncertainty, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe for more honest, compassionate conversations that honor your journey and your body. Share your thoughts below. What questions have you carried silently, or what changes have you noticed but never voiced? Your story matters, and your voice can inspire others to step into their own healing. I'm Dr. Camila Cruz, and I believe the second half of your life can be more connected, vibrant, and fulfilling than the first, if you give yourself permission to learn differently and love more deeply. Together, we can rewrite the story of aging, one mindful step at a time.